On today's show, we will talk about the woman's role in the church and in ministry, and then later on, we will have Katie Nixon join us to talk about something she has started up in her very own neighborhood. So, have you ever felt like you're in a rut? Day in, day out, same thing. Get up, shower, clean, have lunch, do some laundry, pick up the kids from school, help with homework, make dinner, clean up dinner, take kids to practice, give kids a bath, and then maybe relax a little. Do you see life passing by so quickly and wondering, how do I have gray hair? Where did these wrinkles come from? And when did I get so tired? Oh, and then there's that whole age thing. How can I be 40? Or possibly it's, how can I be 60? Life is a strange thing that happens way faster than we could have ever imagined. And sometimes it can be hard to realize we can't slow it down. And now that I've caused you some depression, let me encourage your heart. The journey is not over. And God has so much that He still wants to do in you and through you. This life with Him can be such a wondrous adventure, full of joy, full of laughter, full of amazing moments. So what if you're 40, 60, or 80? There's more for you. I'm telling you, there's more. And it's about asking Him, what's next? What would you like me to do now? You need to start dreaming again, and I encourage you to dream big. Do something new. Take art classes, take a dance class, write a book, learn how to play the piano. God wants you to live a very full life. Sure, we have to do that laundry, we have to cook, or maybe I should say, hey, I get to do laundry, I get to cook. I'm able to do these things and do even more as God directs my steps. So, if you're still breathing, and I'm guessing you are, then there's more. This isn't to put more on your calendars, but it's to enjoy this life that God has given us and realize, hey, age really is just a number. Psalm 16:11 says, "You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." So start looking at all the good that is around you. This life truly is a great adventure with Him. But are you living that great adventure? I know I plan on enjoying it, even the grays, and especially getting to talk with these women. Because hey, we're just three ladies with big opinions, always backed by a biblical standpoint. Let's talk about it.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, and on today's show we're diving into one of those subjects that maybe some of you will agree with what we're talking about, maybe some of you won't. Hey, that's okay, although I think we're right.
Of course we're right.
So we're diving into the women's role in church and ministry, and we have different opinions throughout different churches on what that looks like and what that is, and I just want to dive into what our thoughts are on it, and yeah, we're gonna go right into it. So Teresa, what would you say your thoughts are?
First of all, I'm not on either extreme. I'm not a feminist, but I'm not a pushover. So let's just make that clear. Anything that I say is not because I'm an extremist in any regard. But I do think there's a place for women in ministry, obviously. I know what the Bible says. What I do know that applied to a totally different culture than we're living in right now.
Right.
But I also feel, and you guys can shoot me with arrows, it's okay. I don't know exactly how I feel about a woman being head of a church, not because I don't think she's capable, but can a woman navigate a congregation? Can men follow the lead of a woman as head of the church. Those would be like things that I would wonder. Not because I don't think the woman can do it.
Right. Not that she's not capable. What is God's design?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually his design.
Because men, we're are leaders of our homes, and they're just leaders.
Absolutely.
And not that we're not, but
Well,
just in different settings.
Don't you think, too, women, we can be pushy, obnoxious, and I get frustrated with women, but I do feel like, I do.
I do too.
I do feel like sometimes men will back off when a woman has a real strong personality. That is not what God has called any of us. It's fine if I have a strong personality, but it is not okay for a man to just back off and let me take over everything. I mean, my husband and I have been in ministry for 40 years.
Right.
Together.
Right.
Now, that's us. I have been 100% in ministry with him, whatever that has looked like as the years have gone on. Some preachers' wives are not like that. That's okay. That's all right. We're all different.
Right.
But I committed 100% to being his partner in ministry. And that has looked different through the years. Sometimes it has actually been cleaning the church. Sometimes it's been teaching a class. Sometimes it's been keeping the nursery. Sometimes it's just been staying at home with our own children. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I agree actually that I prefer to be under a man's leadership as far as the head. Not to say that a woman can't do it, but I do prefer that for whatever reason. But then I love to have other women leadership under that man, building up different areas of the church.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
Absolutely.
That's a good way of explaining that.
That really is.
Yes.
That really is a good way. Building up the other areas of ministry. Yeah.
Right.
One person is not meant to do the whole thing by himself
Right.
or herself.
And I think a woman, obviously, for example, a Bible study for women is better led by a woman teacher.
Yes.
Right.
It's going to come across so much better. A man leading a woman's Bible study is not going to work, in my opinion.
Right.
So there
Right.
are roles and places for women. A woman taking a Sunday to speak a message that God has laid on the heart if the pastor's asked, I don't feel that's wrong. It doesn't mean if the title's getting to you, pastor, whatever, it just means she's taking on a role that week, leading the congregation into a word that God has placed on her heart. Where did we ever think that God didn't speak to women and have a message for them to give to the people? I don't know. And so I do want to bring up some scripture references just to clear this little issue. First of all, there are so many times that we see women used in the Bible. I mean, time after time. So if you want to, look into that, first of all. But we have Deborah, the prophet and judge. First of all, then we have in Romans 16, if you look this up, it talks about the many women that worked for the Lord. It says worked for the Lord alongside of Paul, Priscilla, Phoebe, Mary. Then look at another Mary who was the person who found that Jesus' tomb was empty and spread that word to other people. It wasn't a man who found the tomb empty. It was a woman who found the tomb empty and then went and told.
And he said, go tell them.
Right.
Yep.
Go tell
Go
them.
tell them. So there again, we have women that are being used alongside other people. And then it says in Acts 2:17 through 18, in the last day, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. I don't see it say on men. It says all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see vision. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. To me, I mean, I know there's another scripture I'm going to bring up here in a moment that says something a little opposite, but to me, that verse is speaking and saying, to all men and women, I'm going to use them.
And Jesus honored everyone.
Now, I want to go back to Deborah.
Man, I don't want that responsibility.
No, but they said, and I don't know the names because I read my Bible. I don't always, all the names don't click. But someone, like a leader in the army, said she told him, yes, go out to battle. And he said, well, I don't want to go unless you go with me. And she said, well, if I go, I will go with you, but a woman will get credit for this battle, for this win.
Right.
And so she goes out with him. And so the whole time reading this, I'm thinking Deborah's going to do it. But the guy they were chasing after was lured into a tent by another woman. And she, yes, and she killed him. And of course, the Israelites won the battle, and that woman got the credit for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a guy.
Right.
But listen, I'm not saying guys are wimps or anything, but I'm just saying that
There's
was
plenty of
that
stories
was
where
massive.
men. Yes.
That was
yes.
massive
That's right.
victory, and a woman did it. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And a woman prophesied it.
That's right.
The thing.
In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12, it says, "Dear friends, honor those who are your leaders in the Lord's work. They work hard among you and warn you against all that is wrong. Think highly of them and give them your wholehearted love because of their work. And remember to live peaceably with each other."
Yeah.
I think frequently we don't live peaceably with each other, and we do not honor those who are doing the Lord's work, men or women.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for me, you know, I do speak at women's events. I lead women's Bible studies. I look at, man, I have someone to answer to.
That's right. Oh,
And so I would never want to do anything that would upset his heart.
that's right.
And so I take it very seriously, what I'm doing.
Absolutely,
Take it
Haley.
very-
I'm
and
so
prayerfully.
glad you said that. Yes, yes.
You know,
that
so
is
I'm
who
not
we
taking it
answer
like,
to.
oh, look, I get to speak.
No.
No, there is going to be a time when God says either he was pleased with me or not. And so I'm very careful, and I take time and I study the word to know what he's laying down on my heart. I don't go at it like, oh, okay, I'm speaking tonight. I'll come up with something 5 minutes before. No, I know that I spent time in his word learning and growing, and it's helped me so much, but also then hopefully helping others. Like, I never take what I'm doing lightly.
Even on this show, I don't
Right.
take
I think the same thing.
these questions lightly. I
Right.
read
Yeah.
over them.
I do too.
And then if there's like a time frame, I'm like, I need to go back and look over this question again. And I do look in the Word. What does the Word say about this situation? What does the world say about this situation?
Right.
Like, so you're right. Like I do take, because this show is a ministry.
Absolutely.
And I do take that
Of
very
women.
seriously.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
of
right.
women. Right.
But we are not forbidding men.
Oh,
We're not forbidding men for watching this show.
absolutely. We have men come on
That's
and
right.
have some great advice and tips that they've given us.
Because
so,
we
yeah.
can learn from each other.
Right.
All of us.
And God's all about unity.
That's
and so when
right.
there's disunity,
That's
you need to
right.
look at what's causing that.
1 Thessalonians, live at peace with each other.
And I just want to bring up this verse really quick. 1 Timothy 2:12, Paul said, I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man, rather she is to remain quiet. This is the big verse that
Yes,
people want to
that's
bring
the
up
go-to.
as to why we don't. And I want to just tell you guys what that actually meant. Back in the day, back long time when this was written, women were uneducated. They didn't have the education that we have today. And what would happen is they would be sitting on one side of the church, their church, and men would be over here, and they would yell across to the men, hey, I don't understand that. Can you explain that to me?
Oh,
and
I
it would
didn't know
cause
that.
confusion. And it would cause uproar in that moment. And so this verse really goes back to saying, like, this is not the time. Remain quiet. When you go home, then ask your husband. So we really need to be clear as to what these verses actually mean. And if you would study them fully for what they mean, you might have a different outlook on the role a woman plays in the church. And so that's why I wanted to bring up this topic, bring some clarity to it. You may still not agree with us, and hey, that's okay. I hope it doesn't stop you from watching our show, but that's just our opinion. And when we come back, we will have our guest of the day.
We are so excited to offer Transformation Station Preschool this coming August. Our mission is to provide a secure environment for your child to grow into who God has created them to be. Our hope is to help them fall in love with learning through discovering their individual learning needs and meeting each of them to the best of our ability. We will also work to instill qualities to help them further their learning and growth. We hope to build a healthy confidence in each child, allowing them to trust their God-given ability to learn, but more importantly, to trust their ability to hear from God and to grow with Him. Our core desire is that they would know God deeply and personally and rest in that confidence, which they can carry with them for the rest of their lives. Start your registration process by calling the Transformation Church office at 814-944-1948 for more information or to schedule an enrollment meeting. We would love to serve and partner with your family at Transformation Station Preschool.
Welcome back, and on today's show we have Katie Nixon with us, and I'm so glad you've joined us today to tell us about something that I think is pretty cool, but we're going to get into that in just a moment. Before, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
So we moved to Altoona 7 years ago from the Philadelphia area. I was a teacher. I have a master's in reading, so I currently work at Arrow's Christian Academy as the reading specialist. I do reading pull-out and curriculum, and I teach writing for 5th and 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know you taught writing too. Awesome.
Yeah. And so I also pull out, so I'm a reading teacher for some kids, and I pull out the rest of the day for kids who need additional reading support. My husband works for Signature Door. He's the vice president of marketing and sales. We have 3 kids, a 6th grader, a 5th grader, and a 2nd grader.
And they are my favorite kids. I love those kids.
2 girls and a boy.
Now, do they attend Arrows?
No.
No.
Our 6th grader's at the junior high for Altoona.
Okay.
And the other 2 are at Juniata Gap Elementary.
Okay. Juniata Gap's a very good
We
elementary
love
school.
Juniata
Yeah.
Gap, yeah.
I have nothing but good things to say about that
and
school.
that's where we live, up in that area, and we live against the mountains up there.
Awesome. So Arlene was telling us something that you do, and when she told us about it, we were like, we have to have her on the show. That sounds so interesting. And you named it Fire Pit Fridays.
Yes.
Tell us, first of all, what is Fire Pit Friday?
So when we first moved, we were the new people in the neighborhood, and we didn't move in for about 4 months. We were working on it, fixing it up. But every time we were there, the neighbors, you'd see them kind of drive by, like looking, who are these people? You know? And so Denny said, as soon as we get the house ready, let's just have people over. And so we invited all the neighbors over and just had them in the house. And then it just kind of grew from there of just kind of hangouts with our neighborhood. One of our main prayer requests when we moved here was that we would have great neighbors. We left really good neighbors, and we wanted really good neighbors. And God blessed us with amazing neighbors.
Well, but y'all are amazing neighbors also.
Well, like I tell my kids, to find good friends, you have to be a good friend.
That's right.
Right?
That's exactly right.
You have to be a good neighbor.
That's right.
So we look out for each other. We watch each other's pets. We pick up each other's kids. I have borrowed a cup of sugar and an egg from a neighbor. I mean, I've literally done that. And they have, they've helped us with yard stuff. We've helped them with yard stuff. I mean, it's just, it's a great little neighborhood. And so we had this fire pit area down at the bottom of the yard, and we have some big logs that we can sit on. And so we started this Fire Pit Friday, because it rolls off the tongue easy, Fire Pit Friday. And it was just Friday nights at 7 o'clock. And it was bring your own chair and bring your own drinks. But then we had hot chocolate or coffee or hot apple cider. We had all the fixings for s'mores. And it literally then was just a hangout. We invited our neighbors. Our bus stop is a half a mile from the house. So then we have some bus stop neighbors. We had family. We had church people. The first one we probably had about over 40 people.
Oh, wow.
You were like, oh, geez. Who knew?
I know. And the best
Who
part
didn't
was,
know?
The best part was because all the neighbors were there. The kids were just running amok in the yard and being loud, and it was fine because all the neighbors were at our house.
That is so cool.
And it's just a fun night.
And it fluctuates. The attendance, whoever can come, comes.
It does. Some nights it's 10 people, some nights it's 15 people, and it just kind of varies. And It's really just a fun night, and there's no agenda. We just have a fire
Right.
and we just hang out. And it's
Right.
neighbors who haven't caught up with each other for a little bit, and I see you're working on this project and what's going on. And like I said, we love our neighbors, and
Yeah.
they're good neighbors. They bring their dogs. We've had many dogs there, and yeah, it's just a fun hangout.
And I hear people say, oh, I miss the days when we sat on the front porch all the time. I miss it. What you are doing is you are being intentional about your community. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is, you were new to the neighborhood, and you could have said, well, all these people should reach out to me because I'm the new one. But you took a step to say, hey, I want to make sure that this neighborhood is someplace that we love to come home to, that my kids love to be around, that we know who they are. And so that's the part that I love. Like, you took the step, because often we wait for other people.
Yeah.
And if we would take the step,
Yeah.
how good could it actually be?
I know, because I've lived in the same neighborhood for like 20 years, and there's still people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I kind of mind my own business,
Right.
and I pride myself in that, but not to make me feel bad about
Well, we actually realized that when we first had all the neighbors over. We realized some of the neighbors hadn't talked to each other in years, because everyone, you can go day to day, and life can just pass.
Right.
And I always say to Denny, we got to put it on the calendar, or else life just keeps going. And so this was something that, because we set it out, and I would send a reminder, the week, Fire Pit Friday this week, and we've told them all, if you see a fire going, just come on over, because we're down there. But too often life just keeps going, and everyone's
Right.
schedules are busy, kids are busy, work is busy, and then you just want to veg. You just want to not talk to people. But if you put it in a calendar, if you make it happen,
Intentional.
that it happens. And because of that, like I said, we have great relationships with our neighbors, and they look out for our house, and they look out for our kids who ride up and down the street, and they're all over. And
Are there ever weeks when you want to just, oh, I don't want to have Fire Pit Friday this week? Be honest.
I mean, probably after a long week, but there's really nothing to it, so it's relaxing anyway.
Oh.
Like, we literally just start a fire, and there's usually coffee in the pot anyway. So,
Yes.
we always have the s'mores because we have the kids and camping. And
Yes, he made it easy. Like,
That's right.
So that's not
That's
like
right.
party planning or anything.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I don't need a ton of cups and forks and napkins, and I don't.
Yes.
We pop up a table, we bring a cooler, and so it's relaxing anyway. And I think sitting by a fire is relaxing.
That's
It is.
right.
It really is.
That's
I
right.
can't wait to start
So
doing that.
what time of year do you do this? Just in the summertime, or?
So typically we've done it in the fall when it's cooler.
Okay.
Some nights in the summer we've done it when it's cool. When it's like 90 degrees, no one wants to sit by a fire. But some nights when it's cool. Obviously now, the benches will be all wet now. So, but typically in the fall,
Okay.
we've done it, which has been a nice. Everyone comes back from the summer. You really haven't seen each other a lot from the summer. Everyone's traveling. So then it's nice to okay, we're getting back to life. And reconnect,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah. And another thing I actually think is really cool about it is people might not know, but it's a ministry.
That's right.
It's a ministry.
That's right.
You come from a Christian background, and all these other neighbors come from all different walks of
That's right.
life. And here you're taking an opportunity that they might not even know, but you're planting seeds, and it's a ministry. And we don't know what will come forth from that. And that's what I think is really cool about it.
Yeah, and I would say Denny and I didn't start okay, what ministry can we
Right.
have in our neighborhood?
Absolutely.
No, we didn't
Yeah.
do that, but we have since had conversations with the kids, just saying, our neighbors are coming because they feel safe
Yes.
at our house, and we want them to feel safe at our house. We want them to feel safe coming and going, and that they can trust us, and we care about them, and so that's why they come. And even just having those conversations with the kids.
Yeah. And you're being an
I
example.
was going to say, you're modeling it.
Right.
Yes.
Because I don't know if it was you or you who said that, that's kind of a dying art of
Front porch stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing your neighbors.
Right. And it's so good to know those around you.
Yeah.
And to build into them any way that you can.
Yeah.
And so I look at it like we need more of it. We need more of it. We need to find ways in our own neighborhoods to connect with people.
Yeah, it may not be Fire Pit Friday.
Right.
That may not be your thing.
Right.
But don't make it hard.
Nope.
Don't
Right.
make it where you think, oh, I got to clean my house. And I got to do
That's why it's outside. I don't have to clean the house.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Denny just has to make sure the grass is mowed. So.
Smart, yes. Yes, absolutely. We're
Yeah.
going to be outside.
Yeah, I think the easier it is, and then actually the fun part is that now several of the neighbors have they've started their own fireplaces, or one like they really just fixed up theirs and they said, well, now we want to have it, and we said, sure, we don't have to have it, you know.
Right.
So now we've gone to several of the other neighbors' houses and they've hosted, and we all just hang out.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It's
It's
been really
important
fun.
to build relationships, and
Yeah.
I think
Other than at church.
right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
I think that we put
Because-
that aside sometimes. We're like, oh, we got our church family.
Right, right.
That's important. I'm not saying it's
Yes.
not, but we sometimes then neglect.
The other relationships. That's
Right.
right.
Yeah, because we're to be the hands and feet of
Absolute.
Christ outside of church.
Yeah.
And so how can we do that? And you can do it in easy ways.
Right.
You know, yeah. I mean, I've had just the ladies over for breakfast sometimes, and someone else they've had, oh, just come over. We just have breakfast and coffee, and so it's just all those ways of, I don't know. I guess it's old fashioned, you know.
But it's doing life
it's,
together.
It is
Doing
doing
life
life
Yes.
together, and that's how Denny
Yeah.
and I have always done. Like, let's do life together. If your houses are messy, if your kids are a
Life
mess,
is
if
messy.
your week was busy, if your life is messy,
Yeah.
you know. But let's just do life together,
That's right.
because that's real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. And I hope
Yeah.
those who are watching, maybe it's not a fire pit. I don't know what it is for you, but think of something that maybe you could do to connect with your neighbors and bring them into part of your life and do life with them, because I have to believe that there will be such blessing that will come forth from that. Friendships, relationships, just find a way. It doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be big. Fire pit's the way to start. As we come back, I will have your tip for the day.
When it's time for a new roof, Champion Roofing is your best choice. We're a certified award-winning roofing contractor, meaning your roof is done right the first time. Call today.
Champion Roofing, we're the solution.
Today I want to talk to you about a restaurant that you may not even know exists. The name is Too Many Cooks in the Kitchen. It's a family restaurant with a play on the owner's name. The owners of this restaurant are Chris and Jen Cook. Get it? Cooks in the kitchen. It's like it was meant to be. I love the name and I love this family restaurant. Now they are open Tuesday through Saturday, 4 through 9, and they offer all sorts of comfort foods and homemade desserts. They've updated their menu recently and have so many delicious options. Some of the things that they offer are salads, sandwiches, flatbread pizzas, pasta dishes, and more. I highly recommend trying their strawberry pecan salad with grilled chicken. Their strawberry vinaigrette is absolutely amazing. So, why not go try it out and support this local small business? I guarantee you won't be disappointed. It's located at 300 4th Avenue in Altoona. Let us know what you tried there. And until next week, let's talk about it.